Good morning, traders. Good morning. This is Manny the Magoo. It's January the 31st, 2021. Tomorrow, we have a brand new month. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I've done. You're definitely going to want to grab a pen. You're going to want to grab a piece of paper or a pad. You're going to have to jot down some notes. Last week, we had a phenomenal week. For those of you that have been watching my videos and my picks every Sunday, you can see that the way I trade really does work. Now more than ever, it's more important than ever, folks. Okay? Last week was a crazy week. I think we're going to be in for some crazy times. To be honest with you, this is not going to stop. But what it's doing is, I'm all for the little guy making as much money as they could, going after those hedge fund idiots that keep shorting stuff. But at the same time, it is going to have a bit of an impact on the overall market, okay? When hedge funds need to cover their short positions and they don't have that much money on the side, what they're going to do is they're going to sell some of their long-term good holds, like the Apples, like the AMDs of the world, like the Procter & Gambles, like the Wells Fargos and the Citigroups and so on and so forth. So they're going to probably have to sell some of this stock in order to cover their huge, massive short positions. So yes, that's going to have an impact on the market. So more than ever now, the way I trade is probably the most defensive way to trade in a market like this, that you can, by all means, make a decent amount of money, but on top of it, identify those areas of support and resistance that if that support breaks, you get out of the way, okay? So let's dive right into this. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only. By all means, do your own homework. If you want to pick up a phone and contact your financial advisor, please do so, okay? However, I'm going to start off with the 7 stocks I have on this Sunday's watch list. The first one I'm starting off with is AMD, okay? Advanced Micro Devices, okay? As you can see now, folks, this is what I do for those of you that are new to the channel, okay? Tomorrow is a brand new month. So what do? I go to the monthly chart. This is a monthly chart, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the January month, which is this month right here, and I'm going to identify the high and the low of the month, okay? The high of January was $99.23. The low was $85.02, which was actually last week's low. So what I did was I modified a little bit the lines here I have in my chart until a new week starts. Reason being is because I know that the weekly low is the monthly low of $85.02. So what I did was, I took last month's low and I kept my line there, okay? Last month's low is $89.03, okay? So I left my line there. I did adjust the January high, okay? And then, again, if we break down and break this 85.02 area, then I will exercise and put the yellow low on the 85.02 area. But for now, I've got my weekly identified, and I also know that that's my monthly. So here's a weekly chart. As you can see, the low is 85.02. The price right now on AMD is 85.64. Let's go to a daily chart on AMD. And as you can see, folks, once you get in a trade and when you want to identify certain layers of support and resistance, okay, it's imperative that you understand the support and resistance as the stock is coming down, okay? Because, somebody contacts me and says, hey, Mr. Magoo, where do you see support? Well, when AMD was up here, obviously the first area of support that I've identified on a longer-term daily chart is probably going to be this candle's high, which is $94.28. That's going to be support. After we break that area, the next area of support that I see is going to be this candle's high, okay, which is $88.72. Now, we're beneath that now. So where are we going? Well, I don't know. It could keep coming down. I see an area of support here around the, let's see here, the 82.35 area. Okay, I see support there. I also see support here, okay, at this candle's low, which is 77.63. Okay, and then obviously I see support here. As you can see, there are 3 areas here. 1, 2, 3 areas of support. Now, if we break that support, we're going to fill this gap. Okay, as you can see, there's a gap to the upside here. Gaps eventually are always filled. They don't have to be filled today, tomorrow, or in a year from now. But usually, you know, they fill those gaps, and a gap down, if you take the high of that gap, which is 71.63, that will also be support. Okay, so you've got support here, you've got support here, you've got support right here, and right now we're below it. So let's see what happens. You know, if AMD breaks this weekly low of 85.02, I'm going to be watching for it to break back above that 85.02 area. Because if we break 85.02, which is support, well, 85.02 now becomes resistance, correct? So I love playing those back and sides. So let's see what happens. But again, those are the areas. So I've got last week's low of 85.02. I've got the previous month's low of 89.03. I've got last week's high of 95.74, and then I got the January high of 99.23. So all these areas here, folks, are going to be support and are going to be resistance. Okay? So that's AMD for you. Next stock on our watch list is PG, Procter & Gamble. As you can see, again, Procter & Gamble, the month of January has come down tremendously. I identified the high of Procter & Gamble's January high month of 141.04. Okay, the low is 127.44, was again last week's low. Okay, so a lot of these stocks, they have come down quite a bit. Okay, so last week's low was let's see here. Let's go to the weekly chart. Here we go. Okay. Here you go. Here's a weekly chart. Here's the weekly candle. So you got a high of 133.47. You've got a low of 127.44. And currently, Procter & Gamble's at 128.21. Okay, now, looking at this chart on a daily time frame, this is a 1-year daily chart. Okay, if we break 127.44, which is a major area of support, well, it looks like we're going to probably visit this high candle here at 124.99. Let's just call it 125. Okay, again, I don't know where the stocks are going to go. However, I have identified my areas of support and resistance. Again, if we break the support of 127.44, I'm going to be watching to see if, and only if, Procter & Gamble is going to break the resistance then at 127.44. If that happens, guess what? Manny Magoo takes the trade. Okay? And again, folks, the way I trade is very unique because I have identified to the penny my areas of support and resistance. Okay? So let's just say, for example, Procter & Gamble breaks this 127.44, and then it becomes resistance and it goes back inside. Well, I know that 127.44 now is support, yes? If it breaks back down 127.44, it's up to me to get out, okay? Again, capital preservation is the key to this business. So that's Procter & Gamble. The third stock on my watch list is going to be Boeing. Okay, Boeing also fell down quite a bit. And let me just take you to, there we go. Just go to the candles here. And I'm going to show you Boeing. Here's a monthly chart on Boeing. The high is 216.60. That's the January high. The low is 191.85. Okay? And let's go to the weekly chart. And as you can see on the weekly chart, we have a high of 208.35. We have a low of 191.85. And this line right here, the 210.30, that's last month's low. okay? The reason I didn't put it down here at 191.85 is because I know that last month's January's low was that, okay? So that was the December low. So I'm going to keep that on my watch list until this changes. But again, I'm looking for, right now Boeing's at 194.19. We could get a break here of 191.85 and then, go back in. Again, folks, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But at the same time, I think that if we get this downward pressure and it breaks 191.85, chances are we're going to fill this gap right here, okay? The gap is down to 187.27, and then we've got a monster gap all the way down here, the break of, and this will be, again, the first support is going to be that 187.27, which is that high candle. The next support is going to be the, 172.16-ish level, maybe this candle's high here of 175.56. We're going to have to see. Yeah, no, that would be the next area of support before we keep going down. So, again, Boeing, I like Boeing. I'm going to keep paying attention to Boeing. And the next stock on my list is RUN, R-U-N. Okay? Again, here's a weekly chart on RUN. Last week's high, 87.56. Last week's low, 68.16. Okay? Let's look at the monthly. As you can see, January's month, the high was 193 cents. The low was 68.16. Okay, so what I did was I took the December high of 74.14. I just left my line there, knowing that that was the December high. Again, that's going to also be an area of resistance as long as price action is below that line. Okay, so going to the daily chart on it. Let's see here. This area here, this candle, obviously is support at 69.44. We are below. We closed below that candle. So, you have to watch out. Next area of support I see is probably going to be the low of 63.52 before we may bounce. Again, I don't know. We could easily break the last week's high of 68.16 and then bounce and reclaim 68.16. And if we break below it and go back above it, I'm going to take the trade. Or we can just run. I mean, we can actually break this 74.14 area, which was the December monthly, and we can march right on up. Again, folks, these lines that I have, I identify them to the penny. So it's important that you also have them on your screen if that's the way and you like the way I identify my trading. Next on our watch list is NIO. Here you have it. Last month's high, 66.99. Last month's low, 49.08. So that's the monthly. Weekly, we've got a weekly high of 64.52. We've got a weekly low of 55.16. I love NIO. As you know, I've been holding NIO. I've got plenty of NIO. NIO's been on my long-term portfolio for quite some time. And what do I usually do with NIO? Every time we get a little bit of a dip, I add a little bit more. Okay? But I'm a tactical trader, folks. So, not only do I keep some of these in my long-term portfolios as long as they keep working, but I also have a shorter-term portfolio where I make profit on a weekly basis. And what I usually do is I more actively trade that shorter-term portfolio in and out so I can, make some money, obviously pay my bills. Everybody has bills, but at the same time, take some of that extra money and add to my long-term portfolio, and now I'm playing with house money, okay? So that makes it all sweeter. Right now, NIO had a low of 55.15. Let's see what happens. Right now, it's just inside here. It has been consolidating here for a little while. NIO should be reporting the January month car sales, so that may help the situation with NIO. But again, I like NIO. I've identified the weekly high as 64.52. If we break 64.52, I'm going to take the trade. If we break down 55.15, I'm going to be looking at 55.15 to be resistance. And if we go back inside, I'm going to take the trade. And if I take the trade at 55.15, guess what? 55.15 becomes support. If it comes back down, I can always get out, yes? Okay? And so can you, folks. And that's the way to trade tactically, and that's the way to make money. Citigroup, C is the symbol. That's next on my watch list. I like Citigroup. So let's take a look. This is a monthly chart on Citigroup. I've identified January's high as 69.43. I've identified January's low of 57.69. Okay? And that's actually, again, the weekly low. Last month's low high was 61.93. That's why I left that line there. Going to a daily chart, as you can see here, we are closer to breaking the low of the week on Citigroup, as Citigroup closed at $57.99. So the low is 57.69, last week's low. Let's see what happens. You know, is it going to break? Is it going to hold? Is it going to consolidate and accumulate and go to the upside? We don't know. But those are the lines that we have to play. Okay? Last but not least, ARCT. Again, folks, this is not a stock for the faint of heart. This stock moves tremendously. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Be very careful with this trade if you do take it. But it has been consolidating here for days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, we're like 14 days, 2 weeks of consolidation in this area. I'm looking for a break of last week's high is $74.75. So last week's high is 74.75. Here's a weekly chart. As you can see, here you have it. We've got 74.75 as the high. We've got 61.02 as the low. Again, if we break 61.02, 61.02 now becomes resistance, and I'm looking for the play back inside. Okay? And that's ARCT. Now, one stock that I really do like, and I have been watching it for quite some time. I have played it. But the only reason it's not on my watch list this week is because of earnings coming up. And that's BABA, B-A-B-A. Okay? So, BABA had an inside week. I love playing inside week breaks. The only reason it's not on my watch list, and I've identified the high and low, so I am watching this, because BABA has earnings on February the 2nd. And the Magoo never trades before earnings. I want to see what the earnings report is, okay? If the earnings report is great and BABA shoots to the moon, congratulations for those who are in BABA, and hopefully they go off for the ride. But at the same time, I'm very careful during earnings play. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know where BABA's going to go, okay? But BABA would have been on my watch list if BABA did not have earnings, okay? So, again, folks, the 7 stocks on my watch list: AMD-PG-BA-RUN, R-U-N, NIO, N-I-O, Citigroup, C, and last but not least, ARCT. Be careful this week trading, okay? Very, very careful. Now more than ever, you really have to pay attention to when you're in a trade, okay? We are in volatile times. There's a lot of stuff happening in the market, and just don't fall asleep when you make these trades, okay? You have to really be in front of the computer, really watching what's going on. So if you have any questions, any concerns, please comment, and I'd appreciate it if you can subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell button so you're alerted when I post these videos. And again, I'm always here. It's free Feel free to comment. Feel free to send me an email, 100chasetrading@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to help anyone I can, and I hope these videos are helping you guys out as well. All right, folks, enjoy the rest of the Sunday, and be safe trading this week.